Hello everybody, welcome to the Steelchair. How are we doing today? Welcome, one and all. Your presence is always welcome. And we've got a review and a little update to do, but also I just want to quickly share some very sad news, of course, today. So I'm just going to have to quickly bring this up on screen. 1 second. This is some unfortunate news, so let me just quickly bring this up. I'm going to use my phone for a second. Making it easier from my phone so I can present it. This is just a horrible news, I'm afraid. So on screen, I just want to show today the tragic news of Steve Mongo McMichael. He sadly passed away today. So rest in peace, and thoughts and prayers to his family. Very tragic news, of course. If you didn't know, Steve Mongo McMichael, if you're an NFL fan, he played in the NFL. He was a WWE commentator in the early to mid 90s. He then went to WCW, did commentary there as well. Then he joined the Four Horsemen, and then after that he went to TNA, and he was one of the bookers, and he did appear once for as well, years later. Within the company, he appeared as a special guest referee for a Monsters Ball tag match, Bound for Glory, 2007. So all I want to say is, in the circumstances, rest in peace to this man. My thoughts, of course, go to his family. Prayers as well. So we echo all of this to him, and if this somehow reaches his family, which it might not, but if this somehow reaches his family, then just let you know that we are all, of course, thinking of you at this time, and we are so very sorry for your loss. Very, very sorry. Okay, and with that we are going to move on. Hello, Fletch. I'm doing okay. I'm not long back from work, so that's why we're doing the stream slightly early. Should I tell the funny story? Could do. There's potentially a funny story as well on tonight's stream that will make everybody laugh. So I might drop that later on. I also have a little update as well. So before we do the Dynamite review, I just want to put this up here. Channel gaming update, and we can't do this. We can't do this without this. Nah, that's too. Nah, hold on. No. Much better. Channel gaming update. So I have asked people to give me suggestions for games to play. So obviously I had suggestions for more Nintendo. I'm gonna figure it out. Obviously, I mean, I've got my Switch, so I can easily just get my Switch plugged into the PC and then just fucking play it. I've got emulators for Game Boy games. You guys have all seen that. I've also been given another suggestion, and I am going to take this one on board as well, so that you're going to get a lot of streaming content for games. So we are going to be also playing Portal. I have indeed, actually, and I really like that stuff. Like, you'll be surprised the level of games that I will sink my teeth into and have fun, but they're all on the list, so we're going to be dipping in to that. So I'm telling you what will not be on the channel straight away. I'm just putting this up here now, so the following games will not be on the channel. If any of you know these following titles, they will not be on the channel. I have previously played EFC before, and FIFA games, but I'm only going to be playing those on Twitch. It's not fun, not unless I have create a football team and it's all named after wrestlers, which I don't have the time to do that shit. But anything else we can have fun with, and we can work around it. You might see some old games, some classics. I'm looking to see if I can get my GameCube onto HDMI, and if I can get my GameCube onto HDMI, like my original Xbox, then we've got some other games in store for you. But that's where the fun is. I'm currently playing The Forest, building a village. Not bad. I gave up on it quickly, honestly. I might start streaming Prototype on here. I've got it on the PC. I've got the Arkham games on my PC. I've got a lot of games on my PC besides my PlayStations, 5 of them, my Xbox, my GameCube, my Switch. You can think of it, I've probably got it. But we'll work around it, and for tonight's Dynamite review, we are packed. Do I or don't I answer this question? Alright, I'll answer one WWE related question only tonight. I still enjoy AJ Styles, but I feel like they don't know what they're doing with him. Aye. No, he still is. We won't have that. He still is a legend. They just don't know what they're doing with him. Let's not slander the man. Let's not slander him. He still is a legend. But they don't know what they're doing with him. As always, when it comes to these shows, it's fair, it's unbiased. As best I can, I'm going to praise what I like, critique what I didn't like, and I'll answer questions throughout. You guys will get your Q&A obviously at the very end. You get your time to ask questions. So we're just going to dive in. So, opening show, AEW roll back the clock. Not in the best way, if you want to be honest. I'm going to say this truthfully, the show started slowly, but it picked up in the space of 5 minutes. But when it started, it was really tone deaf, or better term to be exact, unsettling. And oh, of course he did. But nobody takes JD seriously, because JD is an absolute fraud. We're going to establish some events and some facts. I want to say this comfortably. The reality is, I did not like the fact that they brought out Master P. Because this guy hasn't been seen in wrestling since WCW. It makes no sense. I think when you look at the established order, this whole segment started really slowly and didn't build, but it got better once you actually started to see some real talent get involved. Now, oh, it's alright, Fletch. I knew of him because I saw the episodes of WCW that he was in, but he doesn't move me at all. That's probably going to offend people, but I did not care for this at all. This whole segment would have been so much better if he wasn't in it. It was, in terms of what we spoke about last night, which is actually a very fair thing to say. If you have all the ingredients and it works, you're going to get a very nice dish. But Master P was like spoiled milk when you're baking a cake. Or if you're making something else that involves milk. And, like, I don't know, like anything in general that involves fucking milk. Spoiled milk on your cereal. There you go, your cornflakes. Master P was basically derailing it. This whole segment is better with the Death Riders, the Bucks, to an extent, Okada, Omega, the Ops, Swerve Strickland. It's better with them because it means more. Master P honestly should have just been a stand from backstage enjoyment to the crowd. I wasn't a particular fan of this. Now, people are probably going to come back and say it was great. Yeah, but let's not. Yeah. What is it about Swerve that you're not taking seriously? Is it because he's been so passive towards the World Championship? Because if so, I understand. Even though I already told you what was going to happen. Yeah, I agree it should be a pay-per-view match, but are you really going to take this seriously for Double or Nothing? I don't know. I think his booking's been okay. I don't think it's been great, you know. I mean, I think it has came down a little bit, but I think his booking's been alright. I think there's a few other people whose booking's been questionable for me recently. But again, each to your own. It's not a problem. Each to your own. If you're feeling something a little bit different to Swerve right now, completely understandable. Completely understandable. But that's where reality kicks in. I think certainly there should be doing a lot more. When you look at who was involved in that segment last night, you can clearly see what's coming. Like you can really see the intention. Now, we obviously got Moxley trapped in the Coquina clutch. Master P obviously he was making it cringe as well, because he was saying, oh, something to say, I don't know, I've got something to say, then he says choke him out. Is he directing Samoa Joe now? Make that make sense. Like, make that make sense. Shame, dude. But to be fair though, you got stuff to do, you can watch it back, it's okay. I mean, they'll do it as heel versus heel, but it wouldn't surprise me. Master P's punches as well, absolute horrific. Jesus Christ. At least to be fair, even though the punches didn't look serious, at least he's actually done what Travis Scott didn't do. He's not hurt anybody, but it's just made himself look funny because they're just bad punches. But at least he hasn't hurt anyone. This is a big lesson for Travis Scott to learn. The one thing is for establishment as well. No, you're right in that sense. Like it does actually, if you sound out, it does. So, one thing is for sure, this Double or Nothing match, because they'll do it Double or Nothing for Samoa Joe, they'll give him his pay-per-view match. I absolutely think, in circumstance, that when you see the winner of the Owen Hart tournament, you're going to get a different level of focus. Maybe not the best way, but they need to they will put some focus into the main event. This is definitely to certain out. I've seen the comments. I think the ones they're horrible as fuck. I'm not going to bring them up on screen just because YouTube they would absolutely ram it. I didn't like the comments that they particularly mentioned about Reece and her area, and I didn't like the comments about Nia Jax as well. Paul Heyman's joke about deportation is not even funny. Oh, he did joke about that as well, but I didn't like his deporting joke. Even though JBL kind of done it 20 years ago, but when he done it 20 years ago, I mean, I was barely 7, didn't really understand what the hell he was talking about. He was just making fun of people. But in reality, it's still not great. Regardless, it's still not great. But Paul Heyman doing it on ESPN really is stingy. Whoever the guy who done the roast thing, I get it's his job, but there's levels to this shit, and you're not that funny, mate. Like, I don't have to talk, and I'm funnier than him. Jinder Mahal got roasted, he's no longer in WWE. I didn't hear the Jinder Mahal joke. I'm not going to ask you to say it, but why on earth would you joke about Jinder Mahal? I mean, what's he done? I mean, I'm not a fan of Jinder Mahal at all, but what the hell has he done? No. It's cheap heat. It's not even worth it. Don't praise that crap. You're better than this. Don't do this. And also, this whole rumour about Travis Scott and John Cena, get to fuck. If they do this, and it's on the community tab, I'm not even going to address it, but if they do this, then I will physically be sick. But Yeah, the segment does end, of course, with all the talent running out that are related to the main event scene. It's quite obvious that we're going to get Anarchy at the arena. There's a heads up for you. Whichever happens, like if they do Anarchy in the arena, I'm not sure if I'll enjoy it. I've never been particularly a fan of these match types. There's something about them that I'm just not particularly one for, but if they do it right, it might end up being really good. I don't know. I really like the look that Joe and Swerve had about the world title. I really like that. All right, Nick, what's cooking? What's cooking, mate? FTR with Stokely confuses me. Not sure they need him. Yeah, good question. Yes, it was meant to be in that sort of environment. It just doesn't feel. If you're going to roast someone, roast them. See, there's good jokes, and then there's just being plain stupid. You know what I mean? Like, even if you really want to rip into someone, the comments he was making didn't feel like it didn't feel like that at all. It felt strange. WWE knew what they were doing when they deliberately did not broadcast this. I don't know why the fuck you would do it in the first place. It's stupid. Oh yeah, Dax is solid on the mic. I like his mic work. I like his mic work. Opening match of the evening, of course. Yeah, too bad they weren't any good. They were just really crap. Like, they were crap. Like, we all could have done better. Let's be real, we could have done better. Our opening contest of the show is Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe, and it's not a bad match, actually. I'd love to get you guys' thoughts on it. I thought the match was okay. I think this match actually had an ingredient, weirdly enough, that was missed. This actually felt like a tournament match, start to finish. You know what I mean? Like, both of them were raising their game as if they were fighting sudden death. I got to praise that. Like, truth be told, I've got to praise it. My only thing is, though, is what exactly is the aim for Ricochet in that way, you know? Yeah, I agree with this. It was quite a long TV match. I do agree. Not that I've got an issue with that, as long as they work within the time frame. But it did feel a bit long. But I like the way they transitioned it. This has done something for both. This is where you have to really say matters more. This really turned it around for Mark Briscoe. Wherever he's going to be positioned, potentially he's going to be back in a title hunt. I'm alright with that. But it's also shown how important Ricochet is. Like, Ricochet has really raised his game. I was very skeptical of Ricochet coming into AEW. Because, again, Ricochet for a long time, and I'm consistent, Ricochet for the longest time bored the living daylights out of me. Not just the wrestling, but his promos. All of it. The complete package, he was boring me to death. His bald head made me want to put a screwdriver between my skull and literally go right through my brain. Since then, he has turned it around. Now, my only thing. And this is where it's not the sense of criticising him, it's the sense of just requesting. Is what he's doing right now, don't stop. It is actually helping you. No matter where he ends up, because let's be real, Ricochet can go anywhere in the world. But he's established a character that for the longest time he hasn't had. Ricochet's not had a character or a gimmick this fun since Prince Puma. And think how long it's been since Prince Puma. I'm hoping that he maintains this. I'm hoping that he continues to expand his understanding of what he wants to portray. And I like the smugness that he has. I rate that. This is something that I like in certain wrestlers who similar size and weight and style, but are trying to find a character. It's what I like about the manner of it. That's what stands out. As in Christian Cage. Not essentially, he's not in catering, no. There was a few other things he had recently. I'm assuming you mean Christian Cage, because if you mean Brian Cage, I'm pretty sure I think he's injured. Yeah, he's injured. The second best Cage on the show. Good wrestler. I've always liked Brian Cage. It feels good to enjoy him now. For the first time in a long time, it feels good to enjoy watching him. I think we can already see where Ricochet is going to go his next feud though. And I like it. Kevin Knight versus Ricochet actually works for me. If both of them are in the casino gauntlet match at Double or Nothing, chef's kiss. If it's just Kevin Knight versus Ricochet, happy days. I'm liking the projection of Kevin Knight and where he's going. Kevin Knight I've liked for a long time. I think he's always been somebody that excites the crowd. Like, he really loves exciting the crowd. I've always liked that about Kevin Knight. Like, he loves to wrestle, but he loves to just get the crowd on their feet. Especially when he teams up with Kushida. So this is where he comes in strongly for the AEW roster. But this is where it gets tricky because both of them right now are in such good momentum that you've got to be careful not to lose momentum on both. But the possibilities for either or are there. I agree about the Nick Wayne comments. Nick Wayne is boring. The guy can wrestle, but if Christian didn't choose an interest in him, Nick Wayne would have been nothing. Except a guy with a mum. That's it. Christian needs to get away from the two of them. I've said it for quite a while, and I stand by it. Christian Cage only needs Kip Sapien. It's going to end up going back. You'll end up going back to Adam Copeland anyway. He'll team Adam Copeland to take on FTR when Copeland returns. But theoretically and correctly, he only needs to be with Kip Sabian from this faction now. It just needs to be a partnership. Nick Wayne should just be on Ring of Honor and stick to Ring of Honor. It's not a negative, it's not a demotion. He's the Ring of Honor TV champion. Go and be a good TV champion now. Raise your game. Take your mother with you. She can be your equivalent of Shelton Benjamin's mum. She's there fighting your battles, and then you win the matches. Except she's not going to go and give some big guy a couple of sandwiches. She's just probably going to deal you some knuckle sandwiches. So let's see what they do with that. I don't know, but that's my thoughts on that. I've always liked Kip Sabian. Get him the hell away from Nick Wayne, please. I'm begging you, because that'll not do him any good. It won't. I also like, there's something about Christian Cage when it comes to championship gold. Like, I blame, I don't blame it in a bad way, but I blame one title reign. I blame his first ever Intercontinental title run back in 2001. Basically, he became so obsessive over holding the King of the Ring trophy that when he won the Intercontinental title, he became so obsessive of holding it that he was never going to let it go. And he's done that with near enough every singles title that he's held since. The Intercontinental title, I'm pretty sure Christian Cage, I think he's a 5-time Intercontinental champion. It's 5 or 6. The US title, he done it with the world title on 2 occasions. He's done it with the ECW title. He done it with the NWA title twice. He done it with the TNT title twice. Whenever the guy holds a championship or wins one, he becomes incredibly obsessed. And it's actually a very good thing. So I was quite surprised that he just handed the title back to Nick Wayne. Like, he shouldn't have. He should have just walked away and said, well, you might be the champion, but you got to earn this championship belt. You got to earn the right to hold it. Did I like Ricky Starks in AEW? No. No, I didn't. I don't like Ricky Starks at all. I only like one match that he had in one program that he had, but I don't like him in general. The guy doesn't move me. Being truthful, he doesn't move me at all. But yeah, here's a harsh reality about Ricky Starks. He's got 0 talent. None at all. He brought it up earlier on. Now we're going to address it. Fletch brought up Stokely Hathaway joining FTR. horrible. Stokely Hathaway, he's actually a funny dude. He's a funny dude. But this partnership that he's now formed with FTR, make that make sense. FTR have only ever had one manager that makes sense that I've ever seen. Only one person who's managed them has worked fully, perfectly. What, Stokely? In TNA, no. Elsewhere, I don't think so. I can double check now who he's managed. I know some people who he's managed, but not all of them. I mean, unfortunately, he did work with Moose, so he has bad taste anyway. Yeah, he worked with MJF on the independent scene. I remember this one because this one was weird. Because he was part of the embassy as well, but in terms of who he has worked with. True, he managed Timothy Thatcher. I remember that. That was weird. And he managed TJP, which didn't last. Then he managed Priscilla Kelly, or as you guys would know from WWE, Gigi Dolan, Darby Allin, Matt Riddle. They all left, but he was working with them. But in terms of here, nah. Awkward days. Rhea Ripley's not winning that title. Horrible champion. Okay. Very well. Moving on swiftly. So Stokely Hathaway is talking them up big. And to be fair, that is what a heel manager does. No. No. Not happening. This isn't a WWE show. So he is talking him up huge. That's what, obviously, a heel tag team does. Except it's not really fitting. Because nobody's really believing it. The segment was already strong when FTR are mugging off the Rock and Roll Express. Again, legendary tag team is... Even though they're not wrestling, it's still nice to see the Rock and Roll Express. They were a great team, underrated as well, in my opinion. When it comes to naming the greatest tag teams, not many people choose them as the greatest. I think they're in the top 10. I would say the top 5 is also a possibility, depending on how much of what you've seen or watched. We then, of course, get the well, they're not called the Undisputed Kingdom anymore. That's for starters. But we do get an absolute genius team appearing in Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly. They come out to make the save after FTR brutally attack the Rock and Roll Express. If it leads to Stokely Halfway getting more TV time and he does enough, I'll take it. But I just think they've put him with the wrong people. Not doing it. If you want to talk WWE, find a time machine and come back to last night. Or tune in for the SmackDown review show, which is Saturday. In the meantime, I'm not talking WWE. Sorry. You want to draw heat, Dax Harwood, you're drawing heat by constantly cutting off Ricky Morton on the mic. Again, Ricky Morton is really good in the mic, by the way. If you've never heard Ricky Morton do a good promo, I mean, we're going to have our 4th year next year. So, yeah. Big thing for this is you're getting heat by cutting them off. It's a great way to get some heat from a crowd. I see where you're coming from, but also if you really want to test Moxley's title reign, like in terms of like seriously test him, Samoa Joe's one of the better guys to work with, and he will protect Moxley as well. Like he will protect him, which is important. FTR are purely just spilling the pot stirring the pot as much as they can, because they're not being wasted until Copeland returns, but they're building themselves up before he returns. So it makes the intention is to get a strong payoff, but they need to be careful because FTR as a heel are so much more effective that they shouldn't be losing as much. So they got to be careful when if they wrestle, how often they lose, especially before they get a 4th tag team title reign. Like that's also very important information. Cash Wheeler, on the other hand, he wasn't particularly great in this segment. Dax Harwood, however, was brilliant start to finish. I think Cash Wheeler just needs to be muscle support, whereas Dax Harwood can do anything within the team. I think that's what lets Cash Wheeler down, unfortunately. The new shirt as well, the Living Legend Killers. Yeah, that's too big a nod, if you ask me. If you catch my drift. Just remember like the weirdness around that. I mentioned him not too long ago. I'm going to mention him again because now it's his turn. Backstage, we get a segment from Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey as they prepare to face... Well, it's a recap backstage segment of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. Hello Maria, how are you doing? I'm hoping that Maria's not heard the comments from the roast. What does what mean? What does what mean? Don't worry, I won't push on. I'll wait till you ask me. I'll wait. Don't worry. I mean, I could tell you, but it's not the best answer. To be honest, I don't even know what it means. I don't know. But please do smash a like on the video, guys. Please do subscribe to the Weekly Steelchair. We are at 300 subscribers now and pushing on for fun. Like I say, we have game updates. The likes of Portal, Nintendo games, all come to the channel. Some classic games as well that I'm going to be streaming. All that coming to the channel very, very soon. Starting this weekend. And obviously, this weekend is also the TNA Rebellion review. If you haven't obviously seen it, TNA Rebellion, sorry, it'll be on TNA Rebellion's on Sunday, so the review will be on Monday. We had the segment, obviously, recap from Collision between Speedball and Kevin Knight. They obviously were interrupted by Ricochet. Yeah, it was fairly decent. We then got the Bucks versus Speedball and Kevin Knight. I thought this match was relatively fine. I think when you look at it, it's a new blended tag team for the Bucks. The Bucks have to obviously try and work new opponents, different style of opponent. Only thing is though is Speedball and Kevin Knight aren't really used to a Bucks match either, so it's not the sense it was clunky, because that's harsh, but it was a sense of what are you going to get from it. But the contrasting thing is, from a match quality perspective, it's not the best on the card, but from a story perspective, it's probably the most important, because it does actually further story, and that is, again, that's what people are after. For me, obviously, the best match on the card we will be coming to very shortly, but I did like the match, but I felt like there was maybe some things maybe lacking. Ricochet's interference obviously is very important. Again, overdoing interference doesn't help. It's good that it was just one person, but they have to obviously limit what they bring and what they don't bring to a match if you're going to have it end on interference. In this case, it was simply a distraction. and we get an EVP trigger for the win. That's completely fine with me. That's safe, and that works. The moonsault double knee drop is sick. It was solid. It was solid. Wasn't great. Wasn't bad. Solid, I agree with. I agree with that, Fernando. Obviously, I have to critique one thing. I know it's part of their formula, but I don't constantly like seeing it, but this eventually did become a super kick party. I really don't like the overuse of the super kick. Kevin Knight is incredible. I'm actually intrigued to see who could end up being better despite the age difference. Who could end up being a better wrestler, Kevin Knight or Leon Slater? Because I think both of them are brilliant from our scene. You got Michael Oku as well, Luke Jacobs. They're probably the 4 best UK wrestlers that are singles talent right now. And Pac as well. I think when you let him work and enjoy himself, Pete Dunne. Like, there's some really good British wrestlers right now, and I'm like, poor. Drew McIntyre's probably like the biggest powerhouse, obviously, but in terms of the lighter, faster technicians, these guys are wild. Like, they are wild. Trent Seven's another one. Tyler Bate, if they let him work, he's good. And I say that with confidence. Like, I like all of them. Just let them work. MJF's segment with the Hurt Syndicate. What do you guys think? Do you like it, or what are your feelings on this? Leon has been working a lot more single, but I think to say Kevin was on a team, therefore you haven't seen enough of him, is a bit unfair. In my opinion, I think that's a bit unfair. Because we still saw enough from Kevin as a tag team wrestler that he can make it as a single star. And he has. I think that's potentially a little bit harsh. I understand where you're coming from, though, you know what I mean? Like, I understand. But I think both of them are... Whew, there's something about them. It just makes sense, you know? And I really do like it. But anyway, this segment, the Hurt Syndicate and MVP... So, first of all, MJF is on a madness. He interrupts Bobby Lashley. Which says it all. He interrupts Bobby Lashley to try and get what really matters. Again, I don't like this nonsense of a thumbs up, thumbs down, but it's whatever they're doing. Fair enough. Kushida, I don't know what's going to happen with Kushida. I say that truthfully. I actually do not know what's happening with Kushida. I really like Kushida. Especially because obviously he's got the tag with Kevin Knight, but Kevin Knight solo. I'm just not sure. During the segment, obviously, MJF does get his second thumbs up. He gets it from Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin approves. He's 2/3 of the way to being made a member of the Hurt Syndicate. MJF offers Bobby Lashley to drive his car as a test drive and immediately shoots him down. The segment isn't bad at all. It's just that it's actually quite long. And I've criticised WWE segments before, and I'm not making this a WWE AEW comparative show here, but I've been critical about WWE about this before, when a segment's going right and then you just overextend it by a couple of minutes. It loses a little bit of its enjoyment, and this kind of does in a way, which is really unsettling. But I still think it's a good segment. It's just considerably long, and it didn't have to be. And also, MJF, if you really want to get in the Hurt Syndicate, you need to stop calling Lashley Bob. It's not going to work. On the road to Double or Nothing, there's something that really is important that they have to do. I'm not saying you keep teasing the 3 thumbs up or you change it to 3 thumbs down, but in the next 3 weeks or so, we need a concrete answer. Is he joining, or is he going to get kicked to the curb? We need to know. MVP again on the mic is incredible. I've got nothing against that. The crowd chanting "Say you're sorry." Again, because MJF can't say the words, the crowd should not be chanting "Say you're sorry." That just makes it sound dumb. So I have to critique the fans here a little bit. It was a bit dumb. We then get a backstage segment, of course, after MJF walks away because he doesn't get what he wants. Hangman Adam Page is in an interview. I think we are. At some point, yes. Wouldn't surprise me. MJF interrupts Hangman Page's interview with Renee Paquette. He reminds the Cowboy, of course, that he's going to be the next world champion. I mean, of course. We have 2 matches left. And then good amount of questions from you guys to go through. But we have 2 matches left. And another swift change in the levels of story for one faction that stands out, of course, that actually stands out well. But we're going to get into that in just a moment. I'm just going to quickly take a short little break. There we go. Okay. So, in the semi-main event match of the night, we have tag team action featuring Will Ospreay and Brody King, and the newest member, of course, of the Don Callis family, Josh Alexander, and the alpha of the Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita. Okay. Straight away, excellent. The dynamic of the match. 4 amazing wrestlers when you look at it, not just on paper, but in actual viewable concepts. All 4 of them are excellent. You've got a different style. You've got the technical, heavy-hitting style of Josh Alexander. You've got the adaptable, high-flying style of Will Ospreay. You've got the brutal strength and heavy bombing punches in Brody King. And then the tenacious, incredibly dynamic style of Takeshita. All 4 of these wrestlers are excellent to watch. They're believable. They can work well with anybody. And they know what they're doing. This is... I would have to say it's my tag match of the week from television thus far. Something could top it. It might not. But I really enjoyed this tag match. I really liked it. And I like the way that you are also setting up more feuds. You're continuing a current feud and you're trying to develop it a little bit. I do have one critique. Because again, you can find a critique in everything if you know where to look. And I do have a critique. I'm not sure if I particularly want this, but I of course will do this. The match on its own, brilliant. The C4 spike, I've raved about it for a long time. It's my Creator Wrestlers finisher on fucking 2K, for God's sake. That's how much I like it. The C4 spike ends Brody King. Wonderful. But this is when things go wrong. So, after the match ends, from ringside, because obviously he's on commentary, but one person in particular is standing there, and that's Archer. Now, of course, it does follow up the story, obviously, that Ospreay does attack Archer by the forearm strike, but we really didn't need. We really didn't need such a long-winded post-match attack angle, even though it was good. It's good, but it's long-winded. Because you get Archer lands a chokeslam. That's fine. That's dishing the receipt back. That's what's supposed to happen. Kyle Fletcher's obviously at this present time nowhere to be seen. He now makes his way to the ring. Cool. No problem. He's in the faction, makes sense. Hangman Adam Page obviously does have a match coming up with Kyle Fletcher in the tournament, so it makes sense for Adam Page to come out, obviously following last week when he got tapped by Alexander following his debut match that he lost to Hangman Adam Page, of course, because I did say that he was going to go through the semi-finals. But we didn't need what happens next. And I don't know what people think of this. I don't think they need to be a part of it. But you get a heel turn of Rocky Romero and the returning Trent Beretta. Now, Trent, to be fair, was already a heel, but it's Rocky Romero that turns heel here, and they all side with the Don Callis family. Why? Why? What is the point? Like, can we please make that make sense? Like, I don't get it. It seems like, now, we talk about factions a lot on this channel because factions are everywhere in wrestling, right? So you can't really hide from them. But why do you have to increase the Don Callis family when it's already got enough members? You've went from Don Callis, Takeshita, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Kyle Fletcher. You add in the 5th member, reasonable. Josh Alexander is a good member, but now you've added Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. I don't get that. Why? What does Trent Beretta offer to this group? Oh yeah, nothing. What does Rocky Romero offer? Oh yeah, nothing. Honestly, he does. He's the worst thing about it as well is when you look at the main bookers in wrestling right now, they're all overdoing their bloody factions. The Don Callis family is perfect with him and 4 other wrestling talents. It's completely safe. It actually works. I don't understand the need . I don't see the need. Like, maybe someone can explain it to me, or somebody can find a way to make it moderate, but I don't like the concept. I don't like the need. It's not about where they are on the card. It's they don't actually fit the Don Callis family in any sense of ideology. Like, look at each wrestler in this group. Look at them. Josh Alexander is arguably the best technical wrestler on the planet. Takeshita is one of the best wrestlers on the planet, but he's also very hard hitting and aggressive, same as Alexander. Kyle Fletcher is trying to become that type of wrestler, and he might do it. But you can see he's the future they want to build that around, which is completely valid. Even though Takeshita and Alexander are bigger and better talents than him. And then you've got Brian Cage and Lance Archer, the two heavy hitters. Like, it's the reality of it, you know? They all share similarities in certain ways. Beretta doesn't. Rocky Romero sure as hell doesn't. Good match, decent angle. It just overcooked itself a little bit. Main event: Statlander versus Jamie Hayter. You know what? Fair play, ladies. Like, I actually quite enjoyed this. I wasn't sure if I was going to, because Jamie Hayter for quite a wee while hasn't been up to speed. She's not really been delivering in the ring, which is annoying because that's her biggest strength, is her wrestling. She's a good promo, but her wrestling is superior to her mic skills. Statlander is undeniably exciting as a bigger woman in terms of how she moves as a heavier talent. She is compared to Jamie Hayter. She works really, really hard, and you can see it. That's why Statlander is somebody that people want to see become Women's World Champion. It's a big match for Hayter as well. She's a former champion. She never lost it. She had to relinquish it due to injury. Even though, when you actually look at it, she did obviously get smashed by Storm, but I don't really call that a loss. I call her relinquishing it. It's just unfortunate she had to get pinned. But when you look at it, she was heavy injured. If it had been her fully not injured, I think Toni Storm would have just edged it. But you can't really say that it was a defense. It was a pure on squash win to protect her, obviously. This match fit both styles as well. So obviously the hard hitting heavy style of Statlander versus the ground and pound submission technical work of Hayter. They come up together really well. There's good chemistry, and I like that. At least they're trying to grant them the perfect semi-final, because that's what this was. This was the semi-final. The winner would be facing Mercedes Moné. And realistically, it could have went either way. It could have. Obviously, the result is obviously determined, but it could have gone either way just because both women were tearing it up. What's my biggest fear, though? Is now you've got two choices. Big choices. You've got the rematch of all rematches in terms of AEW. Because we haven't had the rematch of Hayter versus Storm for the world title. Even though she's lost the title since and then regained it, Jamie Hayter has not had her title match with Toni Storm. But neither has Mercedes Moné. Now, I think more than I act. I think the better match is Jamie Hayter, because we need to get not out of the way, but we need to get Mercedes versus Athena properly for the championship. And it needs to be all in. Double or Nothing Monet versus Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter has to win, and Athena, even if she doesn't get involved, she must be there to gloat. She has to gloat on Money, because that they need to, and they've got plenty of time to do it as well. There's no excuse. There's plenty of time between Double or Nothing and All In to book a really good feud between Mercedes Moné and Athena. Even if it ends up being title versus title, which they might end up doing. I don't know if they will. I think Billie Starkz, even though she's had 3 title opportunities already, she seems destined to be the one that's going to beat Athena. If they do that, no problem. I don't mind. But we're going to see what happens. In terms of the match, I think Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes is a good 20-minute women's match. Both of them have got gas in the tank. Both of them are diverse in how they work. And in terms of stepping up for the first time in a long time, you've got 2 premium matches for Jamie Hayter to prove if she can go and beat Toni Storm. She beat Statlander. If she can beat Mercedes Moné in good fashion, then she deserves to beat Toni Storm at All In. If Mercedes Moné wins, it won't be title versus title. It'll just be women's world title match. So mixed manners to what we're going to see. That's the only question. I'm not sure. We're going to find out. Backstage as well, because obviously she wants to get herself ready for whoever she faces. She wants to keep herself busy. She wants to keep herself occupied with opponents, as she said in her promo. Alright, Rich. She said in her promo several weeks ago before Megan Bayne attacked her, Toni Storm wants to face anybody who's anybody. She offers an eliminator opportunity. She gets Queen Aminata. Queen Aminata is actually quite decent. So that will be a very fun match to watch. The 450 that we saw, fun. So far, to say it nicely, AEW are furthering some of their stories, but they need to be careful they don't overextend certain segments, otherwise it'll hurt those promos that actually tie in to the stories themselves. We got a relatively good card. Some talents didn't need to be there, or one particular person in particular shouldn't have been there to start the show. But I would say it was a relatively okay show, or to even good. It was fun. My only critique that really matters is shrink the Don Callis family, get rid of Trent Barreta, get rid of Rocky Romero, don't include them, give them a false hope, beat the shit out of them on Collision, and stop bringing in celebrities that don't offer you anything, and cut the segments that are going well. Don't let them drag. Please don't let them drag. Otherwise, I'm going to be disappointed. But ladies and gentlemen, you have 10 minutes. Feel free, and I think the system used to be worth it. I just think the system are crap now. They don't really do anything for me now. I don't care about the system anymore. You have 10 minutes. You can ask whatever you like. Yes, I know that he was a commentator, yeah. But yeah, I know he's a commentator. I don't think he's actually. I don't think he's that bad. But he doesn't suit it. I'm still. Gunner. Crap. Absolute crap. The guy was intense, but he's an absolute moron in the ring. He's generally one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen in both TNA and WWE. I thought he had zero potential. The guy was he's just a intense fucking idiot. That guy wishes he was Hammerstone, put it that way. Another bad decision by Hogan and Bischoff. The fan thing, James Storm at least made the feud work. It's just that Gunner couldn't. Timeless versus Mercedes is the only match that makes sense. It's the biggest women's match at the biggest AEW show of the year. Winner takes all. What I'm missing, so what for Athena's from Texas. Athena's also one of the best wrestlers they've got. And it's a way to establish her in the main roster by having her beat Mercedes. Essentially, Timeless Toni Storm, even wrestling for the TBS title, where she is right now, that part doesn't make sense. As for Mercedes, it is time that she upgrades though. He probably will, and see if he does, I'm going to be annoyed. Because his title reign has been shit. He needs to lose. Either Leon or Vikingo, they have to win at Rebellion. Because God Almighty, Moose's title reign is crap. Get that belt off him. He should lose the belt, and then Edward should just kick him out of the system. Right there and then. That's if he can move his legs. I can't stand Moose's work, honestly. He does a few decent moves to decent to good moves, but the guy's rubbish. Like, he's so damn rubbish. Realistically, when I look at the system, I would change some of the members. I've already said before, I would change some of the members right now. I don't know. But they can't overdo it. This must be a maximum of, just like the original, it should be 5 members only. No more, no less. 5. I think when you look at it, I think you need a tag team. So I would say, I don't think it should be Fraxium. I would maybe give it to the Profits. I think the Profits work well with Heyman in this way, perhaps. If not, then you give it to DIY, because they're dead. They need some sort of saving grace. I think Braun Breaker is fine. Seth Rollins is the only one that doesn't make sense. I think women-wise, I would go for... People are saying Becky, people are saying Rhea. I would put in a shock. I would put Julia in there, or Roxanne Perez, and I would put in he's not back from injury yet, but maybe Bronson Reed. I think Bronson Reed might be okay in this group. I don't like the idea that people want Carmelo Hayes in this group. Carmelo Hayes is crap. Like, he is genuinely crap. I think he's one of the best black wrestlers at the minute. He isn't even one of the best wrestlers, period, in my opinion. I don't think he's that good, sorry. I don't see the appeal in Moose. I don't think he's that good. No. I've never particularly liked him. I've always thought that because he's in the company, he's got a big contract, that he should be one of the main event players. But I don't like him. Which women should be next to challenge Tiffany and Io Sky? Io Sky's next challenger is probably going to be Becky, unfortunately. But I would rather see Bianca on her own. As for Tiffany, I would raise the stakes. I'd have Chelsea Green go after her. Or you promote Stephanie Vaquer and Stephanie Vaquer just takes that title off her. Yeah, I think she's alright. Alicia Edwards is actually alright. She's not as good as Tasha Steelz though. See, the Order 4 is a much better faction than the System. Who should be up for Jey Uso? It's probably going to end up being Sami Zayn. Even though that segment made no sense. If they hadn't been putting this faction behind Seth Rollins, I would have said Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker being the one to bring the world title to the Dangerous Alliance would have been good. But they don't know what they're doing. I agree with what Ailey said last night. WWE and their factions are just, right now, they're not making any sense. They're not fitting well. They don't seem to really understand what they're trying to book, especially factions wise, and it's not remotely exciting, if that makes sense. I'll give you guys another couple of minutes. We'll go up until 7:45 UK time, so that's another 3 minutes. Tomorrow, of course, we're going to review TNA's obviously go home show to Rebellion. We're going to see if I can review Ring of Honor. Who's your top 5 black wrestlers? All time or current? Because that's a great question. Who do you think has the best spear? Braun Breaker, Yota Tsuji, Rhino. They're the 3 best spears. Period. Doesn't matter what the order is, that's the best. Hands down. Even though I don't like the guy because his booking is absolutely cringe, I am including Booker T in a top 5 black wrestlers list, obviously, but his commentary sucks. I would say if you're looking at just black wrestlers, Booker T. Hold on. So Booker T. That's a really good question. Junkyard Dog. I don't rate Goldberg's spear at all. I'll answer that in a second. That's a good question. That's a good question, Maria. Yeah, so Booker T, Junkyard Dog, The Rock. To be fair, I would love to say The Rock, but he considers himself more Samoan than black, so I'm not going to include The Rock. But I will include Ron Simmons. There's a lot of really good black wrestlers, but a top five is. I'm just trying to think. But yeah, so Booker T is obviously in it. Junkyard Dog's obviously in mine. Ron Simmons, 100%. See you later. No, I'm not. If you're saying top 5 Samoan wrestlers, I'll put The Rock in that. But when it comes to top 5 black wrestlers, no, because he always goes for more about his Samoan culture than his black culture. Mustafa Ali is in my top 5. And oh, it's tricky. It is so damn tricky. You know what? Awesome Kong. Fuck it. Awesome Kong. Ah, bastard, Shelton Benjamin. But who'd I cut Shelton out for, though? That's the problem. Ah, you've got me, Fernando. That's a hard one. Actually, you know what? No. I'm being stupid. I'm being stupid. Yeah, I got this. I got this. Yeah. I can't leave him out. I really can't. Shelton Benjamin, 100%. I can't. You're right. I can't leave him out. Awesome Kong. Booker T. Ron Simmons. So, yeah. So, Benjamin Farouk / Ron Simmons. Booker T. Awesome Kong. Because I might make a change. Just stick with Junkyard Dog, because I really like Junkyard Dog. He's so underrated. Or do I go for Bobby Lashley? That is bloody hard. Yeah, I'm sticking with, you know what? Bobby Lashley is just outside the list. I'm sticking with Junkyard Dog. Yeah, there you go. And I'll even put it on screen. And to answer the question, Maria, about after Kenny Omega unifies the titles, I wouldn't mind Kevin Knight, but I think a smarter decision, and then Kevin Knight at a later date, I think Jay White should do it. I think Jay White should win it. And then Kenny Omega goes on and becomes world champion. So yeah, so to answer the question, so bada bing, bada boom. So no particular order, it doesn't matter. I don't have an order, I just have 5 names. Junkyard Dog, Awesome Kong, Shelton Benjamin, Junkyard Dog, Booker T, and Ron Simmons. Great question, Maria. Thank you for asking that question. But, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone slightly over, because I quite like that, but I don't mind. I enjoy the fun with you guys. This has been a fun show. I'm going to get out of here, but I will be back tomorrow. We're going to review TNA's Go Home show for Rebellion, and hopefully we'll do some Impact as well. Obviously, Saturday is just SmackDown. We'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. In fact, can I just do a top 5 black men's wrestlers and female? Because it's hard to... Or should I just leave it as it is? Nah, I'll leave it as it is. But yeah, Saturday, SmackDown, Sunday is Collision. But you're getting 2 streams on Saturday. You're getting your SmackDown review, and you're getting a gaming stream for a game obviously that's been requested. And then Monday, reviewing TNA Rebellion. Will Joe Hendry retain the title? Will Moose lose his title in the Ultimate X? Will the Hardys be beaten by the Nemeths? Could Tessa Blanchard beat Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts Women's World title? All possibilities. We're going to discuss all of this. We're going to make some predictions for Rebellion as well. All that tomorrow. And then review it on Monday. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, please do hit the like button. Please subscribe to the Weekly Steelchair. Please share this stream as well for anyone that is out there. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. 7 p.m. UK time. 7 p.m. UK time. But in the meantime, good night, ladies and gentlemen. And I bid you good night.